Well, it's our annual ritual, but in the age of COVID, we're doing it virtual. So I got cousin Oscar. You're not cousin Oscar. You're cool nephew Oscar here with me. What are our three hot takes for this year?
Okay, so number one is the Cowboys need Dak. Number
Very
two,
true.
number two is Slurpees are overrated.
Mm.
Yeah, they are. Number three is I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Still, nobody really likes kale.
Hey, Oscar,
Uh huh.
did you know that the Medicare annual election period ends December 7th?
Yeah, I just read it.
What's that?
I just read it
You read it. You read it where?
on the right there on the screen. It says it.
Hey, who's this dude?
It's just this dude. He just I don't know. He just kind of cheers for the wrong football team.
He cheers for the wrong football team. Did you ever have you ever seen these videos? Did you know that these videos exist?
No, who's that guy?
Well, this is the street.com. And
Hello,
that's
Mr. Street.
hey, who's that dude?
Uh, hey, it's you.
You thought that that what I really do is just complain to you about the fact that you wrongly defined this coin
Mm-hmm.
and just make fun of you and make fun of your sister.
Yeah.
Don't forget, Oscar, the annual election period, Medicare annual election period ends on December 7th. How's your fantasy team doing?
It's embarrassing.
Why, why is it embarrassing?
Well, we're second to last in the league.
What happened?
We're 4-7. Well, we had Dak. Well,
You had
he's
Dak.
out. We had Christian McCaffrey. He's out.
Oh,
Um, well, he was back for like 1 week or
right,
something, but
right.
now he's back out. Otherwise our players are okay, but it's just our big two scorers were out.
Next year, so what's going to happen next year? Why don't you have your own league as opposed to teammates? Because you need some help?
Um, well, no, I don't know. We're just like we just wanted a second opinion, I guess, because I don't know. It's just
Do you like
I don't
doing it
know.
or no?
Yeah, I like fantasy.
You like fantasy. Why?
I don't. That's a good question. I don't really know. It's just kind of fun because I don't really know. I just like it.
Hmm. So, but you don't play week by week. The reason I don't like season long is you've got to follow the teams, and then something weird happens, like Dak goes out, and now your whole season's like wrecked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Have you ever heard of daily fantasy?
No,
So, daily fantasy, you just choose a whole new team week by week.
that'd be nice.
That'd be nice.
Although it'd be a lot of work.
You're right. It could be a lot of work. So, let's talk about that for a few minutes. So, let's say you're playing daily fantasy. So you understand what I'm saying? You pick a quarterback, you pick two running backs, three wide receivers,
Hmm.
tight end, flex, and defense or special teams. So how would you think about this? How would you think about how to choose your daily fantasy team? Any idea?
Um, I uh, just, I don't know. I would just choose the best. I don't know.
Would you just choose the best players?
Well, see, I would choose based on the matchups for the week.
Matchups for the week. Okay. So now that's pretty interesting. And then so now let's just take a game. And I don't even know who's on the slates, but anyway, based on the matchup of the game, how do you choose?
So say like the Vikings are playing the Cowboys, and just in
Okay,
your mind, you're like, oh, the Vikings are obviously gonna win because the Cowboys are terrible. So then, like, I'd pick Dalvin Cook or
wrong,
like
but
someone on the
okay. But let's say the Vikings versus the Cowboys. So in that case, so you'd have never played daily fantasy, but let's talk about that. So now, how would you choose amongst the players?
Wait, on like the Cowboys versus Vikings.
Well, so now you think that what you said you think the Vikings are going to win, right?
Yes.
So and then you said you chose by the matchup. So the Cowboys stink. The Vikings are your hometown team, so you're a fan. and then how do you choose the players?
So I just whoever's been like doing good in the recent matchups, I guess.
Really? We flip this coin, right? And it lands on one of the sides 10 times in a row. Flip, 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 flip. Same side. On the 11th time, what's the chance of heads versus tails? Let's say there's no chance of the edge. We won't deal with that.
50-50.
Yeah, but I said the last 10 times it was heads. Did that matter?
No, it's still 50-50.
Still 50. You mean the other 10 times didn't matter to the 11th time?
No, they don't matter.
Are you sure?
Yes, well, it also matters about how you're flicking it, how,
No, but it's a machine, it's a robot doing it.
and then it doesn't matter.
Even though it was heads 10 times in a row.
Yeah,
You're
it's
sure?
still, yeah, it's still 50-50.
Let's say it was tails 10 times in a row. What about the next time?
50-50.
All right. How certain are you of this?
Well, if it's impossible to land on the side, then I'm positive it's still 50-50.
Okay. Oscar, that is, you get A plus for that. Absolutely correct. 100% correct. So now I see the issue. Maybe. So there's no doubt about it, right? Oscar is not your average child. This is a very bright, young child. No question. That said, you could see that he got the logic of the coin exactly correct. Exactly correct. Meaning it didn't matter 10 heads or 10 tails in a row. The 11th flip was still a 50-50 proposition. It was random. And none of the prior results mattered. Nevertheless, during a football game, he wanted to go to matchup, and then he chose a particular person based on past results. Now, yes, people are going to say, okay, you're taking shortcuts. That's true, I have, but it still illustrates my point, which is that what ends up happening is they use one set of logic, which is very, very clear. And as soon as they've changed the terminology, we've changed it to football in this case, and the results of, Adam Thielen or Justin Jefferson or whoever it would be on the Vikings. And all of a sudden, we then somehow radically modified it, basically discarded the prior logic. And, I'm not the only person to point this out. You'll see books. We'll see them up here on the screen, very famous, prominent books, which basically are explaining similar types of principles. People do this regarding financial planning all the time, all the time. So for fantasy purposes, what were you really looking for as opposed to, good team versus bad team? What are you trying to accomplish?
Pick the best player from like the easiest. It's like hard to explain. It's like picking the best player from the team that's most likely to win against the opposing team.
Is it is it the most likely to win or most likely to score points?
Yes.
I said A or B, and you said yes. Which one?
Um,
Is it the one that's going to be most likely to win, or the one that's most likely to score the most fantasy points? What's the objective?
Score the most fantasy points.
Score the most fantasy, right? Because 9-3 doesn't help you,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you could say for sure that team one beats team two, but if the score is 9-3, you may have correctly picked the team, but got 0 fantasy points. You'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, so now we're getting closer. Hey, it's Darth Vader. Anyway, so now we're trying to score the most points. So that's pretty important, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so are you really interested in the most interesting game?
Fantasy wise,
Yeah, fantasy wise.
not really.
Not really. Not really. Okay. This is pretty good stuff, Oscar. So that's pretty good, right? We went from you think that the Vikings are going to beat the Cowboys, and then we get to, okay, what's the real objective? So now we backed up, right? We backed up and said, okay, actually, what's the objective?
Mm-hmm.
You correctly point out, hey, I'm trying to score the most points. And then you've got to a team. So now let's take a team. Let's take the Vikings. Are you just going to choose any random combination of Vikings players? What's the way to meet your objective? So now let's just take a player. Let's just call him who's Jefferson, right? That's the wide receiver, rookie wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's say he did well 2 weeks ago. Does that mean he's going to do well this week?
Well, I mean, it's a higher chance, but you're not exactly sure, but I'm willing to take a risk.
Okay, so but I'm not disputing, right? He's a good player, right? I mean, everybody knows he's a good player. So, but you said it had to do with the matchup. So now let's just say that the Cowboys have the best pass defense in the world. They don't, but let's just say they did. Is that the way that you would have chosen the player?
Partially.
Partially.
Yeah, there's
What are other ways to think about this? So now the Cowboys have a bad run defense, let's just say.
Mm-hmm.
Now who would you choose?
Dalvin.
So Dalvin Cook, what, most touchdowns in the league almost this year, I think, something like that. Dalvin Cook. Okay, so why? So why would you choose him?
Well, because Dalvin will see the Cowboys say that the Cowboys' running defense is not great. It'd be an easier chance for him to run, and since he's also a good runner, period, it would be very easy, and he'd score a lot of points and fantasy points.
Awesome. So why do you think? So now let's just say that we've had this conversation, we've taken a look at a game,
Mm-hmm.
and now let's just say that your objective is not really to get the most points, but just to have slightly better than average points.
Mm-hmm.
Does your combination of players change?
I mean, yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Well, trying to get more points. I don't know. It just does.
It's not obvious, right? I mean, so let's just say that let's just take Jefferson. What's the problem with the rookie wide receiver? So he could do very well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or what?
Maybe the quarterback doesn't want to pass to him, or like the defense is good, or
Yeah, exactly. Right. So so while the upside is good for Jefferson, what about the downside?
yeah, he just doesn't get past you all that often, and then the
Right.
defense might be good.
Exactly. Right. Whereas Adam Thielen, what's going to happen? They have to throw to him, right? I mean, they have no choice. If they're going to throw to him, they're going to and choose one guy. That's going to be him. Is that right or wrong?
Yeah, right.
So the question then is which one to choose. That does so. Remember, the first one I said your job is just to get the absolute highest points compared to your competition.
Mm-hmm.
The second game is just finish in the top 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Does your selection change of the combination of players?
Yes. Yes.
Why? Tell me how in this case for the Vikings.
Well, say like the passing defense is good, but Adam Thielen's good, and Kirk Cousins will be more likely to pass to Adam versus Justin Jefferson, who's not as good, but he's pretty good. Where Kirk Cousins won't pass to him as much, so I would do Adam Thielen.
So you do Adam Thielen, but is it always the case?
No.
So meaning what my point is, let's say they're two different games, right? The first game is get the most absolute points compared to everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is just do better than half of your other competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Have you chosen Adam Thielen in both cases?
I think so. Well, it depends.
It depends on what.
The opponent.
Okay, so but it's the same the opponent. It's the Cowboys.
Oh, well
Okay, so
then.
now we got the Cowboy. You're playing the Cowboys. You're going to choose wide receiver, and you're going to choose Adam Thielen over here. We're going to choose what's his first name? Jefferson, Justin.
Yeah.
Okay, Justin Jefferson is your other choice. You can only choose one. If your objective on the game is to score the most points in your contest, are you choosing Thielen or are you choosing Jefferson?
Thielen.
Why?
Well, I answered this. It was because the defense. He's a little bit more experienced than Justin Jefferson. Kirk Cousins will be a little more likely to pass to him, and yeah, I think he'll handle against the passing defense a little better.
Okay. So you're ready for all the stuff you did not consider?
Sure.
Yeah, but doesn't everyone else know this?
Yeah.
So what are they going to do?
Pick him too.
So how can you win?
We find like we pick Justin or like Kirk.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I was so complicated game, right? We started out with this idea, okay, just get them, how do you play fantasy? And then
Mm-hmm.
how'd you choose a game? You chose a game. Cool. That was a good game, as far as right, there are lots of offense and there's lots of highly skilled players in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we changed, okay, how are we going to choose between Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen?
Well, the defense, who was more experienced, and the the people in the same league as you, and who they pick
And and also what your objective is.
to score the most fantasy points.
Yeah, but remember the reward over here, your objective is to get to the highest number of points,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can win. Over here, the winner's definition is just the 50% mark. You just need to do better than 50% of the competitors. meaning the other contestants like you.
Mm-hmm.
Does that change your decision?
Yeah, yeah.
So how? So let's start over here. Your job is to get the absolute most points compared to your competitors. I'm going to give you one choice: Thielen, Jefferson.
Thielen.
Why?
Well,
This is wrong. This is the wrong answer, by the way. So I'm sitting here trying to edit, and you can see hopefully where I'm trying to go, which is that just like in Oscar's case, I introduced two different games. It looked like the umbrella of fantasy football, and it's all the same. But then as soon as I changed it, I changed the payouts to be different when he wins and when he doesn't. And in doing so, his best combination for his team actually changed. And so what looked like I should always just choose the absolute best player on average didn't necessarily fit him if he's trying for contest one, because that's his situation, his circumstance. He's only playing contest number one. He's not playing contest number two. Contest number one, where only first place matters. Contest number two is just be in the top 50%. So you can see what ends up happening is that I've kind of tricked him. I've not tricked him in any way, but what this illustration, these last few minutes has been about was to show you how complicated it can be to keep your eye on the ball. Pun intended.
what? But Thielen's better.
I tell you, Jefferson. Now let's change the game. And now the game is just to do better than 50% of your fellow contestants.
Still Jefferson, I think.
Why?
Well, cause I mean, you said it. Didn't you say it earlier? Cause it was say that the other people are gonna obviously pick Adam Thielen if he's gonna do better
Yeah, but is that your objective?
to
Who
get Adam
cares,
Thielen.
right? I mean, because your job is just to beat 50% of the competitors.
Yeah,
You don't have to be the number one.
but I want to.
No, I know, but in order to get them, in order to win, 50% win, 50% lose. So you just want to be up here.
Uh-huh.
If you want to be up here, would you choose Thielen, the more
Well,
reliable player, or Jefferson, the boomer bust player?
well, Adam Thielen, but it's gonna be on.
Whoa, 2 moments ago, you just said, I'm going to choose. So look at all those different answers. Well, I'm going to choose Thielen no matter what. Oh, well, I'm going to choose Jefferson for this game. Now
Well,
I'm
that
going to choose Jefferson no matter what.
Well, because it's more likely that other people are going to choose Thielen other than Justin.
For which game?
The Cowboys versus
No, but for which one of the contests?
fifth. Well, we'll see for points. Justin for 50-50 Thielen.
Ding. Now you see it?
Yeah.
Quite more complicated, right?
Yeah.
Which is that we have this idea, well, I like the Cowboys. I like the Vikings because the Cowboys stink.
Mm-hmm.
But then now all of a sudden you've gone to, we need to choose one receiver for one type of contest and another receiver for a different contest.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. So have you watched Queen's Gambit?
No,
Why not?
my parents won't let me.
You, has your sister watched Queen's Gambit?
No, she doesn't care.
Did
She
you
just
hear that
watches some hospital thing like Grey's Anatomy.
she likes Grey's Anatomy?
She can't stop watching it. And I turned on one episode and their brain was just sticking out of their head and they're like cutting them.
And was that gross or did you like it?
That was gross. I don't like it.
You know, if you wanted to be a medical doctor, you'd have to deal with that all the time.
Yep, that's why I'm not going to be a doctor.